Morning all, it is the day of release for Sparking Zero and I've got a game in my hand. It is about 10 a.m. Should we have a look? It's from Amazon and I'd ordered it from Amazon. Originally it said it was coming tomorrow, but then randomly it changed to today, so I hold out high faith and I shouldn't have done. So this is something else that I've ordered, the Final Fantasy Pixel HD remasters, because it just re-released. So from what I gather, I asked some questions from the Final Fantasy squad that follow me, because I think that's a lot of people, because it's a franchise I've never played, and I'm trying to get all of them, modern versions of them anyway. Basically, this was released a while ago, but had a very limited run to the point where it sold out very quickly, and therefore copies of it shot up, which was why on eBay and like CEX it was pretty expensive. But then they've re-released it again, back at normal game price, so I spent about 50 quid on this. But when I bought it, it was about to go out of stock again, so I was like, I need to get it sooner rather than later, because otherwise I'm going to end up overpaying. So, that's that. It does, however, mean I do not have Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That is still apparently coming today, but typically my Amazon delivers at like 8 p.m, and that's in about 10 hours, and I'm going out for dinner tonight, so that is not gonna fly, I'm afraid. So what I have done, I knew that Amazon was not going to be Sparking Zero, because, you know, Amazon tells you. So what I've done is I have purchased a Sparking Zero to go and click and collect right now at an Argos that's about 40 minutes away, something like that. So I'm going to go get in the car in a minute and go and drive. But before I head there, I'm going to try my local game and my local curries in hopes that perhaps they've got one and I can just cancel that order over there. And I might even pop into my local CEX while I'm on my travels, because you never know. It's just like Silent Hill 2 all over again with this pre-ordering stuff. I've currently got 2 copies of Silent Hill 2, neither of them are the Steelbook. One of them's going back to Amazon so I can get my money back there. But yeah, one way or another, I'm playing Sparking Zero today. I've been waiting over a decade for this. The Tenkaichi franchise is my baby. It always has been. It was my game of comfort when I was a child hiding from my alcoholic, abusive father. And for that alone, drop me a subscribe. And if you guys want to see the playthrough videos of Sparking Zero, because it's going to be the first playthrough that I post on the other account, look at the description of this video. I've linked my playthrough account. I'm going to do lots of videos on it there. So do go sub to that. Being really real with you though, I have not slept very much at all, and I will need to sleep some more before I actually play, but I'm willing to bet that Sparking Zero is going to take a while to install. So it's early enough in the day that I've only slept for like 4 hours, because it's morning, and I'm willing to bet that I can go and get the game, bring it back, stick it into install. It'll probably take at least an hour, if not 2, and I can nap there and catch up, and then start playing. That's my thought process. And then tonight we're going to a Chinese buffet. And here's some good news. Not sure how much any of you guys care, but I'm just updating you with my life stuff at this point. There's a there's a restaurant that's opening in my town soon that I adore, to the point where every year we drive like 2 hours to go to our nearest one, and there's one opening like 20 minutes away. And because of my following, I've managed to get myself an invite to a PR night when they open and get the meal for free, which is going to be great fun. So I'll do some content on that when it rolls around in a few months. That'll be very cool. In other collecting updates before I go and get in the car, I've ordered a ton of stuff off of eBay. I've got about 5 deliveries coming. I don't know when, I don't know what time, I don't know in what order, but there's stuff coming, so stay tuned for that one. Now, I know that I'm not normally awake this early, but like, why is town so busy? Like, I also am aware that I don't exactly have a normal job, and that's why I can be out here at this time of day, but like, there's so many people. Also baffles me that people don't understand how zebra crossings work, or right of way. You should just stall that. Jesus Christ. Anyway, what was I saying? I'm pretty sure I just watched somebody stall an automatic. I don't even know how she's managed that, because that was an electric car. First port of call is I'm going to check game. Hoping Game have just got some stock. You'd think, being as this is possibly one of the biggest game releases in the last decade, that they just have excess in every shop possible. We'll see. If not, I'm driving to Rugeley, which I'd rather not do, but if we have no other choice, we have no other choice. Sadly, for some reason, Rugeley doesn't have a CEX. I think the nearest one to that is Lichfield, which I still think is decently out of the way. More out of the way than my 4 hours of sleep is going to let me do anyway. Or want to do. I'm about to get run over again. I tell you what, guys, bloody cold today. Glad I wore a jumper rather than
my usual t-shirt. I am that fool that will wear the t-shirt year round, but at 7 degrees or whatever this is, glad I chose against it. Probably should have still worn a coat, but is what it is. My favourite offer at KFC is back on, the 20 wings. I'll be getting that in a few weeks. Maybe I'll get 40, you never know. I'm approaching game / Sports Direct now, so here's hoping. Anyone who's been paying attention to all the pre-order things recently knows that hasn't exactly gone well up to now. So it was on the shelf, but they don't have any, nor did they have any member of staff, and there was a dude trying to buy some other game and they said they couldn't buy that either. So like, for real, what is game for? Like, how is it I've been into game twice this week, and because obviously game is in Sports Direct, twice they've had somebody on Sports Direct's counter just to tell people, sorry, there's no one in that was either A, trained, or B, works for game. And it's like, well, why not? I shouldn't be able to, for example, that Sparking Zero that I pulled off had a sticker on it. It should have just worked. Like, don't put it on the shop floor if it's not for sale. That's what we would have done at Tesco, like, ever. And if somebody had bought us a game that was out of stock, we'd have gone over and taken the rest of the empty boxes off the shelf. I'm telling you now, if game is still around by the time I'm 30, so like 3.5 years, I'll be very, very surprised. There was like a 40-year-old bloke about to go absolutely livid in there as well, because he like tried 3 different games that he wanted to buy, like Silent Hill, Dragon Ball, Undisputed, none of them. Right, into CX. Once again back in what is probably my usual CEX, and picked up another Final Fantasy game. We got X and X2. They've also now got that Dark Souls trilogy that I keep seeing everywhere, which I'm only going to get from Amazon, because it's about 30 quid on Amazon, which is significantly cheaper. So shout out to the dude who pointed that out some weeks ago when I first started talking about that collection. Because the thought occurs to me, I don't think I own any of the Dark Souls games physically on PlayStation 4, despite the fact that's the platform where I play them. My Yakuza games that I traded back in are still here, look. The reprinted Kiwami. And then I'm on the lookout still for some PS3 stuff, but the PS3 stuff in this shop is not really updating too frequently. Like Just Cause 2, you'd think it'd be a really common game, but apparently not. Although I did spot this, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which is a game I actually do need. I already own the disc for it. It's just the case that I've got for it is one that I created because it's one of the cases that got wrecked. It's the only Metal Gear game I've played 1,000,000 times through. I play it probably once or twice a year just for a quick run through. I even listened to the soundtrack in the gym, fun fact. Speaking of Final Fantasy, I did spot a lot of Final Fantasy here on the PS2. I also spotted some rather interesting platinum and non-platinum versions of decently rare games. For example, here we've got a non-platinum version of Simpsons Hit and Run. When I replaced all of my platinum PS2 games, it took me quite a while to find one of them. And then they also do have the platinum version too, if you look a little bit higher. And then down here, I spotted the original Sly Cooper for 35 quid. In a lot of CXs, that would have been hidden. Then I spotted this. This was the last platinum PS2 game I had to replace, and it was really rare to find a version of it full stop. And now they got 2. One's a non-platinum, one is, but the non-platinum was very yellow. I replaced mine a while ago, so it's okay. Okay, back to the car. Semi-successful trip at the CX. I nearly spent a ton of money on a whole collection of games that I keep looking at every time I'm in there, because they're all in there. But I don't know if I could justify it, because it is the sort of game that I would definitely emulate were to ever play it. Although I said the same about Kiwami, so the way my brain works is weird, I guess. Where have I parked? No, seriously, where have I parked? Why is town so busy? You know, the dumbest part about this whole hunt for the game is the fact that it is coming today. I could just wait, but it says by 10 PM, and I'm really impatient. I mean, in my head, I justify it being like, well, these trips I can make videos on, and it's content and stuff like that. But it's like, normal people would have just bought it digitally and been playing it, 13 hours ago. Me, not the case. So yeah, I don't understand game. Like, usually, I'm on the side of the staff in a shop when it comes to like blokes and women being Karens, because that dude, there was a guy in front of me in game that was properly kicking off about the lack of games and about how the staff don't know how to do anything. And it's true. It's not the individual member of staff's fault at Sports Direct that she doesn't know how to do things, because she doesn't control the stock. She isn't going to be trained for things that corporate doesn't see her needing to be trained in. But game as like an entity are so awful that
at the end of the day, it's almost their fault that their staff are going to get moaned at, because they're putting the staff in a position that they're going to get moaned at. If this was me at Tesco and I was consistently telling customers, sorry, we haven't got that game, sorry, we can't pre-order your games, somebody would have phlegmed in my face by now. Somebody would have spat in my eye. Like, people would have kicked off at me. People kick off at like retail staff for infinitely less than this. It'd be like going to KFC and there being no chicken, but them being like, oh yeah, you can get chicken tomorrow or the day after or online. It's like, you're a shop that sells chicken. Anybody remember a few years ago when KFC ran out of chicken? That was a thing. Like, you're called Game. Your sole purpose is to sell games and pre-order games, and you can do neither of those two things. I'm baffled. I don't get it. People talk about what a CX goes under. It ain't. CX, I would love to know how much money CX makes, but it's mental how much money they make. Consider the difference between what they'll give somebody for an item versus what they'll sell it for. That in and of itself is a mental amount of money. Then consider the fact they've got no competition on a high street. None whatsoever. Some CXs may have some competition in individually owned stores, but even then, is it really competition? Like, if CX are the Apple of Game World at the minute, they're not too bothered about the Nokias, you know, or not even the Nokias. It'd just be some standalone brand you've never heard of if it was really just an individual shop. But I just don't understand how Game have fallen so far. I was never a fan of Game. Even as a kid, I always preferred Game Station. They had a larger selection of games. And then Game brought Game Station and ruined that one, but then Game went to pot themselves. Even before Game went in Sports Direct only, Game went awful. Like, I can't remember the last time that I bought a game from Game in general. Like, I'd used to go and look inside a game when I'd walk past it on the high street because it was still there. I'd never buy anything because they were mostly just selling, like, Minecraft and Five Nights at Freddy's merch. But, like, it's just a sticker shop now. The worst part about it is that they've got they don't seem to ever actually have dedicated game staff open in there. It's always Sports Direct staff having to man both counters and not knowing how to do it, which in and of itself straight away puts your staff up to get shouted at by people, because people are not going to be conscious of the fact that it isn't their fault, not really, that they don't get trained in these things. And then what else? The fact that they've got all of these empty boxes on the shop floor. Like, the fact that Sparking Zero came out today and somebody has put that on the somebody, like, considering there's no game staff in, someone that works at Game has stocked the shelf with Sparking Zero cases with a £70 price sticker on today, knowing full well no one can buy it today. Why would you do that? You are once again just setting your staff up to get shouted at by people that don't care about people's feelings. That is what you're doing. Why would you even bother putting them on the shelf if you know there is no stock today? It's not like they were selling some yesterday, so there was some stock yesterday, like it might be at Tesco with a normal game. Like at Tesco, we'd usually find out there was no stock of a game because somebody would bring a game over, we'd go and try and find it, and there wouldn't be any. Then we'd go and take it off the shop floor. But if it was a brand new game that literally released, like, at the time I was in there, it was 11 o'clock, so a couple of hours ago, then it's like, if it's on the shop floor, there'd be stock. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on the shop floor. It's mental. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm off to Rugeley, Argos now. I've never been there before. It's a 6-minute walk from where I'm planning to park, and hopefully it's not too difficult to get there. It does look to be an Argos that's in a town centre, which is less than ideal. But needs must, and then I'm having a nap when we get back in. So, let's go. Okay, made it to Rugeley. Granted, there were a couple of roundabouts that just didn't show up on maps, so sorted them out. Car park of choice today is Morrison's, and by the look of it, still don't need to pay for parking, which is lovely. Of all the different supermarkets I've ever visited through all these different CX trips, there's only ever been the one in Burton, I think, that I've actually paid for. Every other supermarket that I've parked on has been free for some amount of time. Got 2 hours, which should be more than enough, although I do need to continue using maps to find the Argos from here, because I've got absolutely no idea where it is, but it is apparently 6 minutes away. So, off we go.
Turns out this Argos had a car park and I could have parked, but it looked like it was in just the middle of a town centre, but apparently not. The mission has been successful. We have got it. They must have had a fair few people come in for it today, because even the middle-aged woman behind the front desk was like, "Is this brand new out or something?" I was like, "Yes." And I would imagine that a decent chunk of people have travelled to try to get it, because I had to travel to get it. It was my nearest. There's 3 Argoses that I could have gone to between here and home, but not one of them had one. And interestingly enough,
as I got out of the car, I got a message saying, "Oh, your Sparking Zero will arrive between 8 and 10 p.m. or something like that." Great, that's helpful. 8 and 10 p.m, fantastic. Not good enough though, is it? The whole point of a pre-order is that it's there early. For I think the next game that I'll pre-order is Assassin's Creed in February. I'm going to pre-order the Steelbook version of that off the Game Collection, because a lot of people have said the Game Collection is a good shout and things come early. But by then, my PS5 shelf should be full, and there shouldn't be too much more to bother getting physically on that PS5, and then I can get digital with it, because I'm sick to death of this. This is twice this week we've had this faff, and why it's literally easier getting older stuff than it is brand new stuff, and that's mental. It really looks like there should be a CX in here somewhere, but there isn't. But yeah, you've got to just find the car. I don't think it's a pay and display car park. I hope. Like this car park is, but I think that technically the car park I parked on is a different car park. There was also, and by the looks of it still is, a woman lying on the floor over there behind that red car. Asked if she was alright, and she's said yes, and someone that knows her is in the car in front. I don't really know what was going on, but it was odd. Like it looked like an elderly woman had fallen over or something, but I think she might have just been taking a rest on the floor, because she seemed pretty calm about it, and somebody that knew her was in the car, so I don't know. Well, I don't know if this was a pay and display car park, but I think I was quick enough that it didn't matter. Anyway, mission accomplished, got the game, let's head home, then have a nap. And by the time I wake up from my nap, I might have another one. 100 gigabyte minimum. Yeah, this is going to take a few hours to install. This nap is going to be a good use of this time. See you later, boys and girls, and ladies, and everybody else. Everybody's welcome here. Right then, I'm home, it's installing, I'm going to go have a nap, play for a few hours when I wake up, and then we're going to a Chinese buffet. What a good day. See you in a bit. Well, I've just woken up, I've come down, everything is installed, and we're ready to go. And do you know what's funny? The Amazon one is still not here. Still. Anyway, I'm going to go start filming. Like I said, if you guys want to see the videos of me playing games like this, check out my other account, link in the description. Be sure to subscribe to this one and that one. Over time, I want 2 silver play buttons. Let's go.